Okay. So in the last session, we discussed about the instances, what is the landscape of instances we just do have in the implementation projects. And to have access to the instance, what rules are required for the user, these 2 points we discussed, and the same we have seen in the system. So within the instance, we created a user called XYZ INC, and we assigned these 2 roles, and we verified the user access to this FSM as well as security console. In today's session, let's focus on FSM. So what is the use of this FSM? So with the FSM, we can perform the setups. Any setups you want to do in the system, we use FSM, Functional Setup Manager. So apart from that, what are the other aspects we have to understand related to this FSM? We'll see that today's session. In the fresh instance, when we are working as consultant within the fresh instance, first you have to create your own user. You may get some other user credentials. With that you can log into the instance and create your own user. What is the second step? Step 1, user creation. After that, what you have to perform as a part of implementation. So once you are ready with your user, what we have to do is, what are the applications you are going to implement for your client, those all you have to set ready. What are the naming conventions we use? In the Fusion FSM, the financials, supply chain management, what are the points we discussed here? Okay, whatever we discussed, here we have a list. So you take this financials, SCM, HCM, SCM, CRM, these are all we call as product families. We call all of those as a product families. Those as per Fusion FSM, we call as offerings. So what are the offerings? Financials we call as offering. HCM we call as offering. SCM we call as offering. PRC means procurement we call as offering. PPM, project portfolio management we call as offering. CRM, customer relationship management we call as offering. These all we call as offerings as per Fusion FSM. Within the FSM, Functional Setup Manager, this all you see as a offerings, different offerings. If you call financials as an offering, within the financials we have a different applications. Say for example, we have GL application, AP application, AR application, CM, and FA. These are the different applications we have. These applications as per FSM we call as options. We call as options. So this is what we have to understand, offerings and options. As per FSM, so if you don't talk about FSM, these are the different product families in the Fusion applications. These are the different applications. But when you refer FSM, within the FSM environment, these all you find as offerings. These you have to find as a options. Offerings and options. Offerings means product family, option means specific application. It could be any application. For our discussion, I am taking finance applications. Now, very first step, what we have to do is, we have to enable the offerings and options. Okay, we have to, in the fresh instance, we have to enable the offerings and options. See that. Okay, so your client is going to implement these 3 offerings: finance, yes, HCM, and SCM. You have many other offerings also, but in the instance, what we have to do is, you have to enable these 3 offerings. And in each offering, what are the different applications we are going to implement for the client, those also we have to enable. So the very first step is user creation. The second step, enable offerings and options. Okay. So the very first step is enable offerings and options. After enabling the offerings and options, you need to create implementation project. Create implementation project. Why we need to create implementation project? To perform the setups. When you talk about implementation project here, it is not real implementation project. The activities what we do in the system as setups, that we are calling as implementation project. Okay, so implementation project is different. So where we just talk to the business, we take the requirement and we'll establish a discussion with the client and we set up the system. We'll do various activities as a part of real implementation. But here what we are talking about, create implementation project, this is purely for the purpose of to do the setups in the system. So you are going to implement financials. You create implementation project and you do the setups by using the implementation project. So that's how we do. So we create implementation project and we need to select which offerings and options we are going to implement for the client. Okay, during the implementation project or after creating implementation project, we need to select offerings and options into this project. Say include or you can say select. Include or select offerings and options into implementation project. We have to include or select offerings and options into the project what we are creating. This is the what purpose we are creating, only for setup purpose. So once you create it, you can perform certain activities. Okay, we'll discuss all those in the sequence. So there are many things which you can do with the implementation project. There are many points which you have to understand. We'll see everything more detail level. For now, we'll proceed with this. First, we'll go and enable offerings and options. Then we'll create implementation project by selecting offerings and options. Then finally, system will create the task list. What system will do? System will create task list. Okay, system creates task list. So what does it mean by task list? List of setups. Say for example, you created implementation project and you selected offering called as financials. Within the financials offering, you selected option only GL. To implement general ledger application, what setups we have to perform, that list system will create. Task list is nothing but list of setups which we have to complete to implement specific application or entire offering. That system will create, then you can start doing the setups. Once system will create the task list, we can do the setups. So perform setups. We can do the setups. Once setups are ready, you can start using the system. And in between, we have to understand few more points we will discuss. So this is what we are going to do from the FSM. So we'll just go through these points one by one while we are discussing. If you have any questions, we'll just take it up. Fine. So first we have to enable offerings and options in the instance. Okay, we have to enable offerings and options. We'll go and see that. So to enable offerings and options in the instance, click on username and you have to go to FSM. How to navigate to FSM? You have to just click on setup and maintenance task. Click on setup and maintenance task. And in this page, you can see actions. Just click on actions and select go to offerings. Select go to offerings. Just select. It will take us to a page where you can see all the offerings which are available in this instance. So it doesn't matter whether your client taken the subscription for all these offerings or not, but Oracle will display. Okay, Oracle will display all these offerings and options. Oracle will display all the offerings and options. So as per your subscription, you have to use those. Even Oracle is giving, you should not use it. If you are using without subscription or license, there will be penalty from Oracle side. Okay, so here is our financials offering. The same way you can see procurement and different offerings are available. Now once again, we'll just go back and we'll navigate to this page. Okay. So when you connect to the instance, what you have to do is you have to click on the username. Just click on username. It will open one panel. From the panel, there is one task called as setup and maintenance. If you click on this task, it will take you to FSM homepage. Click on setup and maintenance task. Okay. Now, here click on task list. Okay, sorry. We are not going to project. We are going to offerings. Go to actions, select, go to offerings. So we are going to offerings to enable the required offerings. Go to offerings. Here we have offerings. How to enable the offerings? So you want to implement financials. Click on this financials icon. Here icon, don't click on this name. It will take us to a different page. Just click on financials related icon. Once you click on this financials, your same system is displaying the financials and what we have inside of the financials that you can see here. What we have inside of the financials, we have assets. Means fixed assets application is part of financials, and ledgers. Here ledgers means GL application, general ledger application. Another application is cash cycle. It refers cash management application. The payables application is referred with the term called as invoices and payments. When you say invoices and payments, it's accounts payable application. And accounts receivable we have as a part of financials. And collections is a separate application. And subledger accounting is not an application, it is a feature. We discussed, I think not that we touched that. So account subledger accounting, it is for accounting generation purpose. We will see that. We'll come to know all this. And tax configuration. If you want to calculate any taxes, that also part of financials. Along with the financials, you will have an application called as expense also, fusion of expense also. But you will have to take the separate subscription. If you take the finance subscription, you will get all this. If you need expense application, you need separate subscription. That is the reason they are not including within this. That also comes under financials only. So this is what we have to understand. In the fresh instance, if you select financials here, financials offering, you find the status as a not enabled. This is a practice instance we are using. That is the reason you can see as enable. In the fresh instance, how to enable, we will go and see that. Okay. So here click on opt-in features. Click on opt-in features. It will take us to the page. From that page, you can enable the offerings and options. How to enable the offerings and options, we'll see. We selected financials. In the fresh instance, you see the status as a not enabled. Whenever you see the status as a not enabled, you have to click on opt-in features. So since we are using for this practice, already this is enabled in this instance. So in the fresh instance, here you have to enable all this. By default, this all will be disabled. You have to enable it. So enable financials. So when you enable financials, you get GL by default. Without general ledger application, it doesn't make any sense. When you say finance, it doesn't make any sense without general ledger. General ledger is the base application. Without general ledger, you cannot use financials application. And here you can see supplier invoice processing. It is nothing but payables application. And here is a cash management application. Cash management application is a part of payables only. And expense application. Okay. Fixed assets. Fixed assets. Customer invoice processing is nothing but receivables. Collection is another application. Revenue management, cloud services, that is separate application we have. So intercompany is a separate feature, and budgetary control and encumbrance accounting is separate feature. And below you can see BI, business intelligence analytics, some reports you can produce, analysis you can do. These all are part of financials. So in the fresh instance, this all you see as a disabled, you enable it. Enable all. Doesn't matter what we are going to implement, you can enable all. Just come to this page, and if you see these checkboxes as not enabled, you just enable it. Click on this, enable it. That's it. That's what we have to do. And apart from that, here you have a futures. These are by default, those all will be enabled. You don't need to enable anything. Okay, you can just select financials, click on futures. So all the futures will be part of these offering related options. On top of it, if you want to enable, you can enable something, but ideally not required. So it will just by default, everything will be available. If you find out something is missing, something you are not able to perform, then you can go to the futures related, click on edit icon. It will take us to the page where you can enable what else you want to use along with which are directly available. Okay. So financials, you can click on futures. It will display there. You may enable. So anything else you require. That's it. Just I'm clicking on edit for financials. It will take us to a different page. There you may enable anything else you require. Okay, these are the just add-ons. If anything else you want to use based on the country and all, you can use. By default, you don't need to set anything here. Just click on that. You don't need to set by default anything. So just click on done. So these are the points we have to understand related to enabling offerings and options. In fresh instance, everything you can find as a disabled. And what we have to do is we have to go to offerings page. There you can select which offerings you are going to implement. And you have to enable relevant offerings and options. Now financials is the offering. General ledger application, supplier invoice processing means payables, fixed asset. These all applications we call as options. Just enable it. You may not implement everything, but enable it. No worries. When it comes to implementation and usage, don't touch remaining which you are not using where you don't have subscription. But when you want to enable it, no issues. There won't be any harm. Yep. So just click on that. This is what we have to understand. We are not doing any additional setups. Just come to this page and enable it. In the same way, if you talk about procurement, click on procurement. Click on opt-in futures. The procurement also enabled. What we have inside of the procurement, we'll go and see. What are the different applications we have inside of the procurement? We'll have a look. So just you have to select procurement. Just click on this procurement icon. Click on opt-in futures. It will list out within the procurement offering what are the different options are available. Okay. Fine. Now you see, please.
Yeah, Lakshman, in financial also we can see options called items. Okay, is it here?
Those are connected. When we are working on financials, those are interconnected. Okay, those are displayed as a sub. You don't need to worry about it. That is not an option. Yeah.
Okay.
Because when you are working on receivables application, you have to create the sales invoice. When you create the sales invoice to the customer, what items you sold, that you have to include, right?
Correct.
So for that there is a connection. That's what they are representing. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, fine. Okay. So here, these are the points. Within the procurement, we have a purchasing application and self-service procurement, SSP. You can call it as iProcurement also. And within the procurement, they are giving payables application also. If somebody wants to use payables, if they want to subscribe procurement along with the payables, they can use it. What else we have? Supplier portal, iSupplier, sourcing application, procurement contracts. So this all we have as a part of this offering. Okay, we no need to do anything, just for information we are checking. Okay, within the procurement, one of the key application is purchasing. Along with the purchasing, we have many other applications. Those are self-service procurement, or call as procurement, advanced procurement, supplier portal, sourcing, procurement contracts. This is all we have. Okay, just for information. So our focus would be on finance. Whenever it is required, we will just go through this also, because we have to understand the basics of supply chain. So this is how any offering and option you can enable. And other information, when we talk about HCM, here you don't see HCM as a separate offering. What Oracle it is, HCM they released as a separate offerings. HCM is one offering, but they split it into two parts. Here you can see workforce deployment and workforce developments. If you combine these two, that you can call as HCM complete solution, human capital management solution. And we have another offering called as PPM, project portfolio management. You don't see something as directly PPM. If you combine project financial management and project execution management, these two comes under PPM. When you say financial management, your costing and billing more into. This is execution management, where you have a project management, resource management, and so on. So that's how just they given this. Fine. So that's all. Like in fresh instance, what we have to do is you have to come to this page, click on financials, click on opt-in features, and enable everything. No worries. When you are implementing, whatever you need, you can implement. Along with that, they are providing few documents here related to financial offering. Related documents, expand it. The associated features within the financials, what are the different features we have, features are available, and to implement financials, what setups need to be performed, everything you can see here. The business objects and enterprise application, not at all useful for us. They're given just information for other purposes. So this you can go through maybe after some time. Those documents are available in these different formats. You can download this associated features document in the PDF format or HTML or Excel format. In the same way, task list. Task list is nothing but list of setups what need to be performed to implement these financials applications.
Hi Lakshman, sorry to interrupt. In which offering property management application is there? In which product family?
That they are giving separately. That is not part of this. Okay. No, not part of the finance product family.
Okay, but in which product family it is residing?
See, it is they are giving separately. As of now, you see here, okay, the application what you are referring, they are not yet released as offering. You know, in the fusion,
Okay.
you don't have everything what you see in the EBS.
EBS property management, it is still not here in this offering list.
No, not there.
Okay.
Not only that, there are many. Slowly, they are just working on to move to fusion applications. Okay.
Okay.
So that's how it is. So these are the documents are available in the different formats. You can download it. You can download and you can see. But for now, not required. You don't need to look into that. We don't understand anything. We have to get into the system configuration. If you are going to download and see this document, that makes some sense. Okay. Now you don't need to try with this. Even by seeing that those you are not able to, you cannot do anything. Just for information, you may walk through. They're given as a part of this product. Okay. Maybe you can try after some time. You can download it. You can have a look. You don't find those are going to help you in somehow. You don't see in that way. Just you can go through the document if you want to go through when you get access to this instance. That's it.
One doubt, Lakshman, like for example, if we are not opting financials and we are opting only procurement, in procurement, we can see payables as one. That means as part of procurement, will they give payables
No,
application
there won't be
access?
any payables. There is one reason why they given the payables. There is a process called as a P2P cycle. If some client wants
Yes.
to implement P2P, for that purpose, they can subscribe the procurement including payables. Otherwise, payables is not part of procurement.
Okay, okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And one more thing, in order to start the implementation, there is no rule that we need to create an implementation project?
There is no rule. Without implementation project also, you can do the implementation. But if you do setups through implementation project, you have a benefits. Take simple example. So we discussed we need to create implementation project. If you create implementation project, you can move the setups from one project to another project.
Okay,
If you don't have implementation project, you cannot move setups as a functional consultant. And when you do the setups in the system, if you have implementation project, your job will become very easy. Otherwise, all the ways you have to go in the different clicks and streams, you will come to know that. You will see that. I'll explain.
okay.
Yep. Fine. These let it be, because implementation project is the next step. Okay. When we discuss about you, if you have any questions, you can rise on that. Okay. Now we are talking about.
I just want to understand in real life, in what scenario we will.
No. Anything we will discuss when we are working on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Otherwise, we'll go with the deviations, right? You will ask one question, others will ask their questions. Right? Hope you can understand. So we are talking about offerings and options. So these are the points we have to understand. Okay, these are the points we have to understand. In the first instance, you have to enable offerings and options. So whatever you are going to implement for your client, that means for what offerings and options your client has a subscription, you have to enable all those. Okay, just click on that. That is the second step. The very first step is user creation. Okay, the very first step is user creation. Already we discussed and we have seen in the system how that can be done. The second point is we have to enable offerings and options. Once you're done with that, the next step is we have to create implementation project. We have to create the implementation project. Let's see how to create implementation project. So what is the purpose of implementation project in the system? We do the implementation, that is a big process, multiple stages, multiple steps, activities, the team efforts. That's a different story. But what does it mean by implementation project within the Fusion applications? What is the meaning of implementation project within the Fusion application? It's very simple to understand. What are the setups you are going to perform in the system to implement your payables, receivables, different applications? To manage those setups, we are going to create implementation project. So instead of calling it as implementation project, it would be very right word if you use it as a setup project or configuration project. But they given the name as implementation, we should call it as implementation. The correct matching word is configuration project or setup project. Okay. So in the overall implementations, we do setups as a one of the activity, but they given the name as implementation project. So don't relate this implementation project with the real implementation. This is just related to system setups, system configuration project or system configuration activity. So that's what we have to understand. When you do the implementation for any client, how many implementation projects do we need to create? So typically we create one implementation project for one country. So you are implementing Fusion applications for US and India. For US, we create one implementation project. For India, we create another implementation project. We do US setups from US implementation project, India setups from India implementation project. So that our job will become very, very easy. You can avoid a lot of confusion since for two countries, you created two separate implementation projects. Now, you want to use single implementation project for multiple countries. Yes, that is also possible. So you are doing the implementation for 10 countries. The best practice is for 10 countries, create 10 implementation projects, or else you can go with one implementation project also. There is no harm. All the time you have to keep in your mind you are working for which country. Otherwise, by default, you go with the wrong setups. How it is, you will see in the system. Okay, as of now, take the point. Very generally, for each country, we create separate implementation project. If you want to create one implementation project for multiple countries, nothing wrong. Still, you can do it. If you create separate implementation projects, when you are doing the setups, it would be very easy for us. If you think it is okay, I can take care of, create single implementation project for multiple countries. And as per the country business process and requirements, you can do the implementation. That is the other thing. So how many you want to create? You can create however you require. For multiple countries, one, okay. For one country, one, okay. Okay. So this is how we create implementation projects. Who has to create implementation project? Don't think project manager need to create implementation project. No. So anyone can create implementation project who knows how to create implementation project. It is not related to project management or project lifecycle management. It is simply related to system configuration. Who is going to do the system configuration? The system consultant, means we. We are going to do the configuration, the system. So that is the reason, just create implementation project from your end. So finance consultant can create implementation project, or a HCM consultant can create, or HCM or PPM. Any consultant can create. In every project, the key role would be for finance consultant. That is the reason mostly we create implementation project in every fresh instance. Okay, you may create one or multiple, that you can take decision. Everything is fine. If you create one, if you are implementing for multiple countries, sometimes you may commit with the mistakes. There is a chance. If you are able to take care of it, no issues. And if you are doing the implementation for multiple countries, for you ease of use, if you want to create separate projects for each country, that is also fine. Okay, so both will work. There is no challenge with that, but only the point is more convenience if you create project country specific. And if you create single project, still you can go ahead, nothing will stop you. But sometimes we may commit with the mistakes when you do the setups. There is a probability. How it is, we will see in the system. And who has to create the project? Consultant only. Okay, project manager is not going to do the setups in the system. Project manager will be monitoring and controlling the project. They will plan and they'll work on the execution of the project. So they are not going to come into the picture of the system. Okay. So you just think the project manager also knows Oracle Fusion Financials or HCM. Earlier, the project manager worked as a consultant. Let project manager create your implementation project. Nothing wrong. Anyone can create. Okay. So this is what we have to understand. Let's see how to create implementation project in the system. So we'll see how to create. If you have any questions, we'll discuss. So from here, you can navigate implementation project. I want to take the navigation right from beginning. So whenever you log into the instance, click on username, click on setup and maintenance task. So you will land on this page. This page is FSM page, functional setup manager page, or you can call as FSM home page. So from here only we navigated to offerings. From the same page, you can create implementation project also. How? Here is a task pane, or you can call it a task list. It is kind of notepad icon. So you can click on this tasks. This contains multiple tasks. Click on this icon. You can call it as a task pane or task panel. Click on the task pane and is showing the multiple tasks. What we want to do, we want to create implementation project. Click on manage implementation projects. Click on manage implementation projects. You can see many projects here because we are using this instance for our practice purpose. Okay. So a few of you guys might be able to access this instance already. So here you can see many projects because this is a practice instance. If you are working for your client, you don't see any project. This page would be blank. This is how you see. You don't see single project also. Okay, you don't see single project, it would be empty. Oracle never provides any sample projects. In case of fresh instance, this we are using for practice. Everybody is creating their own project. And another important point is, so as a client, you can use this instance what you get from Oracle. One instance should not be given to another clients. Oracle never share the same instance to another client. If say you are a company, like you are just running the business, say you are just from Airtel. So of course, Airtel is using the Oracle applications for their business. So if you are a Airtel and you are a Oracle customer, you will get an instance. You have to use it. You should not share this instance companies like Jio or some other companies. Okay, one instance for only one client. That instance will allow other clients to use, but you should not share it. Okay, so that's how it works. But in this instance, you can see many names, many projects are created. By seeing that, don't understand, okay, one instance you can use for many clients. Somebody created Wipro, and somebody created Capgemini, somebody created some ABC, etc., etc. Here, just for practice purpose, people created. By seeing this, don't go with that assumptions like, okay, this instance can be used for multiple clients. No, one instance only for one client. Oracle will never share the same instance with other clients, and even you should not share this instance to other companies. Okay, only one client. If you are running the business in 100 countries, no worries, use the same instance. That is your business on. So no worries, but one instance only for one client. One instance can be used by multiple clients, but that is not allowed. That is the point we have to understand. Okay. So when you come to this page, this is how you can see in the fresh instance, and you have to create your own project. Let's see how to create our own project. Here is the plus icon. Click on it to create the new project. You can provide the name. So we are using as of now XYZ Inc. INC. We'll go with the same name. Later we will just change the name and we'll go with some other company names. So initially just we'll play with this name. So name is XYZ INC. Say our client name is XYZ INC. Create implementation project as a XYZ INC. Rest of the name system is taking as implementation project. The number what it is deriving, you can remove it. Now just use the tab from the keyboard. The same name will be defaulted as a code as well as a description. Use tab. Just use tab. It will default the same name for code and description. Okay. So once you save this implementation project, you will be able to edit name, description, but not code. System will freeze it. It won't allow you to do any modifications. So whatever the name you want to give, you can provide that. It will save permanently with the code. Name and description, anytime you can change it. So that's all about the project creation. And the status is not started. Yes, we not yet started doing any setups. We are in the process of project creation itself. And the next field is assign to. We are creating this project from the XYZ INC user. The same user it is picking here, and it is assigning this project to that user. It is not mandatory you have to assign the project to somebody. The entire project you don't need to assign, not mandatory. If you want to assign to current user, assign, or else you can click on search and you can assign to different users also. But let it be system, let system assign. And start date and finish date. We are talking about just setups, not entire implementation. So your finance setups, you are going to complete in how many days? Maybe 1 week. That date you can set up here. Okay. So set up a start date and a finish date. Maybe you are going to complete these setups within this time by 20th. Okay. Provide the tentative finish date. So this is how we have to input the data to create the implementation project. Based on this detail, system will create implementation project. You can add your offerings and options into this project, or else during this implementation project creation itself, you can include. If I click on save and open project, system will create the empty project. I can add offerings and options later, or else if I want to add offerings and options during this implementation project creation itself, you can click on next. Okay, you can click on next. You will be able to include what exactly you are going to implement for the client and what you want to select into this implementation project to perform the setups. Now, what we can do is you can try with this save and open project, or else you can go with this next. We'll test both, how it works in both cases. So click on next, so that whatever the offerings and options are enabled in this instance, you can see all those. If you don't enable offerings and options, here you don't find the same. If you don't find the same here, you cannot select or you cannot include those into this project. So why we are enabling? To select into project. If you don't enable offerings and options, at the time of implementation project, you don't find those offerings and options to be selected into your project. This is the point we have to understand. Now here, what are the offerings? These all are the different offerings which are already enabled in this instance. These all are available, ready to use. Okay, so these all are available. So whatever you are implementing, that you can include into your project. Okay, whatever you are implementing, that you can include into your project. Right. So we are going to implement financials. I am going to include financials into our implementation project. You see here, include. This is already enabled. That is the reason it is available here, and you can include into your project. If you don't enable this as a part of offerings and options, you don't find these financials in this list. Okay, that is a point we have to understand. Whatever you enable, that would be available here. If you don't enable, it won't get displayed in this list. If this is not displayed in this list, you cannot select into project and you cannot do any setups. So just include it. Include financials. Again, within the financials, we have a different options. Those also you can include. So already we have seen within the financials, by default, you get GL application, general ledger. That is the reason they are not displaying the GL application once again here. That is there as a part of financials. Are we going to implement payables? You enable this, include this. Supplier invoice processing is nothing but payables application. Just include. And expense, yes, we are going to work, include it. And accounts receivables, yes, we are going to work on it, include it. Customer invoice processing is nothing but receivables application. Yes, include it. And revenue collections include revenue management and intercompany. This is the future and all. Budgetary control will work on it. You include everything, nothing wrong. Nothing wrong if you include. If you want, you can use it or else ignore it. No worries. Just include what we have as a part of financials. Just include all this. Okay. So this is how just you can include and say save and open project. If you want to include procurement, go to procurement section. Just include. But we don't need. We need it not now. Okay. When we are going to work on supply chain management applications, we need procurement also. At that time, we'll discuss and do it. For now, finance offering is enough for us. Okay, we included financials offering. Inside our financial offering, what are the options we have? Those also we included. Now click on save and open project.
Yeah, Lakshman, so as and when required, so we can come back here and we can enable, we can include, or we can just exclude these options, right?
You no need to come here. I'll show you. Okay.
Okay.
That is in the further discussions. You are going to see that. So,
okay.
Yeah, you can add directly from the projects itself. From project itself, you can remove Okay, this is all you can manage at project level. We'll discuss all those here. So it takes some time. The reason is we included financials. Within the financials, we have a different options. It has to create the task list. That's what we discussed. System creates task list. For that, it took some time. Now it created, you can see that. So it created a folder for financials. This is the offering. And it creates task list. For each application, it will create separate folder that each folder contains the application specific setups. Okay, payable separate folder, it contains all the payable setups. For receivable separate folder, it contains all the receivable setups. That's how you can see. Let's look into that. Okay, expand financials. You can see it create a task list. These are all you call as task list. Just place cursor on that, what it says, task list. List of setups may be related to specific application or relevant configurations. If you want to do the payable setups, this is a folder you have to use, task list. Define invoicing and payment configuration, nothing but payables. You want to implement payables, you expand it. Again, we have subfolders. Within the subfolders, we have a task. These are the actual tasks which will allow us to do the setups. Whatever you see in the folder icon with the folder icon, those are not at all tasks, those contains the tasks. Okay, so that means within the project you could say task list and a task. Okay, task list and task lists are grouped into the different folders. Within that folders you can find the relevant tasks. So this is what we have to understand when we talk about the project creation. So once you create the project, system creates the task list of tasks, it's auto generates, and by using those task list, you can start working on the system. We'll have a deep dive into these points after some time. For now, we'll talk about the basic information. The project we created, okay, these are the details during the project creation. If you want to edit, you can edit except code. You can change the name and you can just change the assignment, you can change the dates, and you can set the status for this project. By default, the status is not started. That means we not started doing the setups in the system. So these all you can update. How to update? Click on edit. You may change the name, code is same, like you cannot change. Description you can change. You started working on the project, so you can set the status as in progress. Assign to, okay, to which user this is assigned. If you want to change, you can change. You can click on search and you can select another user and you can assign. And start date and the tentative finish date, all you can provide. You can update, save and close. Now, if you look at the project, it says in progress. By looking at this project, anyone can understand. So we started working on this project. We started doing the setups. Okay. So this is what we have to understand. And this project, now this we have financials. If you want to include procurement, you can just click on add and you can include. It could be entire offering or option you can include from here. For example, you just expand this financials. Think this define invoicing and payment configuration is not there in this financials. You want to add it. Yes, you can add. Name is define invoicing and payment configuration. When we are going to add, don't select financial. If you select, that will be added into financials. Always you select here, this corner, just you click on this. Okay, ensure it is not selected. Double click, again click, it is deselected. This is how you have to keep. Now click on add. Say payables is not part of your financials, not selected, or else you can do like this. You may delete it. For example, our testing purpose I'm doing. Select, remove it. You are not implementing payables, so you can delete it. You don't want to see that payable related setups in your project since you are not implementing. Now no payables. So think this is how we have, and payables is missing. I want to add payables. If you want to add payables inside of the financials, select financials and you can add it, or else outside of the financials, if you want to add it, you can select here. Now click on add. So we are not going to add offering. We are going to add the option. Payables is one of the option. Here you select task list. Task list can refer list of tasks or entire option also. What is the name of the option? Define invoicing and payment configuration. Search. So this is the one. Define invoicing and payment configuration. This is nothing but payables. You select it. Click on apply. You see in the background it is added. Now you can say that. This is how you can add. At any point of time you can add. Or else you can add entire financials also. For our testing purpose, I'm deleting this. Okay, just delete entire financials offering. Yes, you can add. Anytime you can remove or you can add. But what are the setups you do? Those will remain as this. Okay, because you are deleting the project, there is no harm for your setups. Those will remain in the database. This is just front-end user interface which will allow us to do the setups. That's it. Now I want to add financials. Click on add. So I want to search for offering. Finance is one of the offerings. Select search criteria as offerings. You want to search for financials. Okay, select financials. There are many applications inside. It's a little heavy load for system, heavy lifting. So select financials and say apply. Now financials you can see as added into our implementation project. That's how you can add different offerings also. Wait for a second, it will add to our project. So finance, we have many applications inside. It has to create many tasks. It means it has to create a heavy task list. That is the reason it is taking time. Wait for a moment. Yes, it's done. The background you can see financials offering is added. Now you can click on done. Okay, this is how just you can add. Now again, I am removing the payables. Already that is there in the financials. So any offering or option or a task also you can assign. Not only this task also you can assign. How? We'll take one task for our understanding here. I'm going to payables, expand payables, go to define payables. There is one task called as payables payment terms. What does it mean by payables payment term? We'll discuss later. For now, just take example as we need the task called as manage payment terms. That I want to add. So if you want to add, don't select financials, just select here, it will get deselected. Now you can click on add. You want to add only one task, You can go to tasks. The task name is manage payment terms. This is the task, only one task. You select apply and click on that. Okay, you can see this is the offering, this is the task. If you want to add task list, you can add whatever you want to add, you can add it. Even after doing the setups, if you delete this, there won't be an issue for the setups what you did. The setups anyway will go to store in the database. If you delete all this, you cannot do any setups from this project from now. What are the setups you did already? Okay. So this is what you have to understand, and still we'll discuss few more points. Before we jump into further discussions, any questions from anyone, please?
Yeah, Lakshman, so this project can be assigned to only one resource. Suppose there are two functional resources, they want to work on the setting up the system.
You are little advanced. Your questions are little advanced all the time. You can wait to listen all those things. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever I am going to cover, you are asking.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. See, just I'm telling you. So definitely your questions are very much valid, quite nice. I appreciate. But the point is you are asking the next content discussion related questions. Okay, you just focus on what we are discussing. Any questions on that you ask me. Anything else you want to understand, wait for some time. If you don't hear anything from my side for your questions, yes, you can raise those. You just, my request is park your questions for some time, not long time, for long time. Yeah, let's do it in this way. Yeah, thanks. Any
Sure,
questions here, please?
Here, the project details and project name is given by business or just
Nothing. It's not a big thing at all. You are working for client. You put the client name. That's it.
Okay.
They are not going to see. Business is not going to do anything with this project name. This is for only for us, for consultants.
Yes, as a functional consultant, we can decide the project name and
Yes. Just ideally, what we give the client name. That's all. Yeah. Client name we give, and we'll write implementation project. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
If the logo and this thing we need to add as per the customer or that is not a functional consultant role.
What is that?
The logo of business.
Yeah, here we'll put the logo. Vision. This is the logo only.
How that is not part of functional consultant.
Or no, that can be done by just a technical team, or else even being a functional consultant, we can do that. It's a simple task.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have to enable the sandbox and we can do it. We can change the logo. Simple, not technical.
Okay. Just the next class just show us how to.
Yeah, I'll show, but not now. Now that is the framing and all. I'll show you sandbox and all. I'll talk about. You can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine. So any questions here? Whatever we cover so far, based on that, any questions, please?
Lakshman, maybe I joined a bit late, so maybe I missed this part. Is this project essential? Is it mandatory, or can we do the setups without this also?
Without project also, you can do the setups. If you create the project, you have certain advantages. The advantage is you can move all these setups from one instance to another instance if you have a project. If you don't have a project, you cannot move functionally. You have to depend on the technical team, DBA team, to move that.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the advantage. Apart from that, if you have implementation project, our job will become very easy. Doing setups through project is very easy. Comparatively, doing setups from outside of the project. I'll cover what are the different options we have.
Okay.
To do the setups, we'll discuss so that we will find project is very much useful, but not mandatory. To answer the question.
Thanks.
Yeah, but in every implementation, we create the project and we do the setups through project.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Suppose if we want to change any logging language, we can do it.
Yes, you can do that.
Okay.
That is supported.
That is supported, right?
Yeah. Any other questions?
Lakshman Surya here.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. After creation of project, if we forgot anything to add in the project, is there any option to add the task after creating project also?
Yeah, just now we did the same.
Yeah.
So see, I added this task. Before this task, I added entire payables offering option also. Or you can add the task list, or you can add one more offering. What is your question on top of it?
Yeah, understood, Lakshman.
Okay, great. Anytime you can add or you can remove from the project. Okay, you want to add one more offering or option or a task list or a task, add it. If you want to delete anything from this, delete it. Okay. Anything you can delete from this if you don't want So you're not going to implement so-and-so application. Okay, you're not going to implement so-and-so application, you can delete it. Even if you keep it as it is, no issues. Yeah. Any other questions?
Lakshmi, if we miss the finish.
Your voice is very low. Can you fix
Oh.
it?
Yeah, sorry. Is
Yeah.
it audible now? Okay.
Yeah, very much, very much. Thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
please.
okay. So the finish date we have given as tentative, right? So if we miss the date, so the resource will not see this project in his list for me. What is if we miss
Answer
the
is no, answer is no. See, this is just for information purpose for tracking. Okay, to track the progress of the project.
Oh, okay.
Given this date, or else I can give today's date, still system will allow me to work on that project. What it will do when it comes to progress, it will display these many days overdue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
It will give the note for anyone who is looking at the project. So project need to be supposed to complete by so and so date. It's a overdue, 5 days overdue, 10 days overdue. That information purpose we are setting. These doesn't work as a controls. System is not going to restrict because of this information. Everything what we are providing just for information.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Fine. If you don't have any questions, we'll just jump into other points. Now, so project is associated to one user or person. Okay, here you can see assigned to XYZ INC. Okay, project is assigned to this user. Again, it is not mandatory, we have seen. The same way, and we updated status for this entire project. The same is applicable for offering or option or task list level. If you want to assign this entire financials to one resource, you can assign it. The consultant who is working for financials, you can assign these financials to that consultant. Or else one consultant is working for payables. Then what you can do is select these payables, define invoicing and payment configuration is payables. Okay, when you see this, you have to understand this refers payables. You select it. There is one consultant who is going to work for payables. You have to assign to that consultant to this option. Yes, you can do it. Select this option. Click on assign tasks. First, we have to select, then click on assign tasks. Now click on add. Who is going to work for payables application implementation? Who is going to do the setups in the system? You can pick any name. When you are practicing, by that time you may not have a different users. You search with AR, BR, C, you will find many users. Search. Okay, select any one of the user here. Fine. Select any one of the user. Select and say okay, apply. The background it added. Okay, the background is added, you can see partially here. And click on done. Okay. So we are assigning one person to take care of the payables configuration. So just click on apply and click on done. Now you can see this person is responsible to implement this payables, define invoicing and payment configuration. And we are going to give the due date also. Okay, the deadlines. By 10th, we are expecting payable setups should be ready. Okay, that due date also you can provide. Say save and close. When you look at the progress of this project, this all will come in the play. We will see that. First, we'll go through all these points where it will reflect. We will see. And you can set the status for entire financials or specific offering or option. Okay, any offering options, you can set the status, or else you can set the status for specific task list or particular task. Say finance, this payables consultant started working on the payables application. Click on the status icon and I'm setting the status as in progress. So by looking at this project, you can understand payable setups are in progress. Say payable setups are completed. you can click on the same status and you can change the status to completed. Say save and close. After updating the status, if you expand the payables folder, you will see everything as completed. Reality, we didn't do anything, but just we updated, system will accept. You set the status as completed, system is not going to stop you when you try to do those setups. This is just for information purpose. Okay, system cannot understand whether you completed setups or not. You have to tell to the system by updating the status. Even if you tell to the system by updating the status as completed, it is not going to stop you from doing any other setups. So this is how it works. Now for other applications, you may set the status as in progress. So you started working on receivables, you select receivables and click on status, and you can set the status as maybe in progress. Save and close. Say receivables you may assign to other resource. Select receivables, click on assign tasks and click on add. You want to assign to different user. Search with any letter, you can find the user since these are the test instances. Okay. So you want to assign to this user. Apply. Done. The users are nothing but here consultants. That's what you have to take. And provide due date. You are expecting receivable setups to be completed by so and so date. The date you have to provide as a due date. We are expecting setups will be completed by next week 15th. Say save and close. You can assign to multiple users also. Same you can assign, you can add one more user. Or else if you don't want to assign these offering level, you can assign specific task also. For example, you can go to anything. Just I'm going to payables. Only this task I want to assign to so and so person. Select this task, click on assign tasks. So that is already assigned to this person. You can remove this. This setup, manage payment terms, or you want to assign to separate resource, separate consultant, or separate team member. Okay. So just assign to any resource.
The mail will be also trigger. Suppose if you assign roles.
Sorry?
Suppose if you assign some roles to any other person. So like
No.
if mail ID is updated, then it will also trigger to mail.
No. Whatever you are
this
assigning, that will get updated.
Okay.
So just give the due date. For this person, you are giving this due date. So this is how you can update specific task level or particular option level, or else you assign everything to one person. The entire financials you may assign to one person. Select financials, assign tasks. You are going to assign to one resource everything. Select, apply, done. You are expecting all these setups to be completed by so and so date. That date you can give as a due date. Second. So save and close. This details what we are updating. It could be status or it could be assignments. This is all for the purpose of tracking. No controls in the system. Because of the status, because of this assignment, system is not going to behave differently. No way. It will behave how it behaves. Even if you don't set the status, you don't do the assignments. It remain as it is. Only for our understanding purpose we are setting, there are no controls, because you assign to somebody, it doesn't allow others. No, it will allow anyone. Who can access this project? Anyone can access to the project who got access to FSM. Who can get access to FSM? Who has access to application implementation consultant role. If you have access to application implementation consultant role, you can access to any project, even you are not belongs to that project. Full privileges. Reality, being a consultant, we never touch any other projects, we never work on other areas which is not related to us. If you do something and if you you did something which is not related to you, that will be captured by system. It will identify which user what they did. Okay, that is the one reason. Other reason, we are very clear about when we are working, we are responsible for what, accordingly will keep progressing. So these are the points we have to understand. In fact, you can set the status for entire financials also. Maybe you can set it is in progress. It says save and close. Just wait for a moment, it will update. Yes. I'll just expand financials. Okay. Now, if you look at these payables, here it is showing two users. It's two users. One we assign directly at financial level, one we assigned at payables level. Okay, two users. This correct user and we have one more user. So this is how automatically system will apply. Now, where you can see the progress of this project. Let's see that. Just click on done. Click on done. So once you log into the instance, what we do, we click on setup and maintenance. We'll be landing on this page. And from here, click on task list. Click on manage implementation projects. Now click on overview. When you click on overview, what will happen? System will display which project is assigned to you as a user. Here, from which user you are connecting to that user, any projects are associated, it will display. There itself, you can see the progress or status of the project. Just click on overview. So we updated statuses, the same system is showing here. It is showing everything as in progress, because entire financial level we set the status as in progress. Okay, initially we set the status as a completed for few, but later project level what we set, it is overriding everything. Project level you set. The entire project you set in progress, but payables you want to set completed. Update. It will update accordingly. Now click on done. Now see, it is updating. So 14% setups. The count is 232 setups are completed. And remaining 86% setups are not completed. In progress is 1,467 tasks. Okay. And here you can see due dates. This week, 16 tasks need to be completed. And due date next week, already 273 are in progress. In 3 weeks, 921 setups. And these completed, these are in progress. And nothing is assigned, no due dates are assigned for 273 in progress. The same way, you can go to assignment status by task list. Here it will display very detailed task list level. So for which task list wise it is showing. Okay. So this means it's a payables it is showing completed, expense not completed, fixed assets not completed, receivables not completed. So that's how you can see each and everything. To look at the resource who are aligned to this project, click on resource status. So this is how that resource are allocated. These 3 different resources. And this week who has to perform what? This week this person has to do these many setups. in the next week. So this user has to complete these many setups in 3 weeks. This person has to complete these setups. How many are completed, how many are in progress. So this is all you can see. Again, assignment details, nothing. Just if you want to see, you can see the task names, etc. So that's how you can update the status against the project. You can assign the resource and you can do all this kind of progress check and all. And again, it is not that much mandatory. Reality, when we work on the real-time implementations, we don't assign, we don't update the status. We'll keep working, okay? Because it is team effort, okay? Collaboratively, we'll be working. So every time we'll have interactions, meetings. So you no need to update in the system. Okay, everybody knows what is their responsibility. Accordingly, they'll start working. If at all you want to update, there is an option. That's what Oracle given. When it comes to reality, we create implementation project, we'll keep going. We don't do all these assignments, assigning payables to whom, receivables to whom, and what is the status, progress, etc. When we have some kind of status meeting with our team, we can discuss, yes, setups are completed, or else you can circulate the email, but you are not going to update in the instance itself. So this is what we have to understand. This is all about how to create the project, how to set the status, and how to do the resource alignments, how to assign the project to resource or resource to project. So this is all about project. Any questions on this, please?
Which one? Here I have one question. Actually, just we have changed the status of task, okay, which is in progress to complete. Correct.
Yeah, go ahead.
But we are not done the actual setup.
Sure.
I was I mean to say in depth we are not going to do did any setup, but just change the status of the task, and here we are checking how much work is done in system.
Yeah, if you are doing mistake, you will get the results according. Right? Anything anywhere, right? You don't do it when you know you didn't do that. Why do you update the status as completed? Don't do it. Even if you set in that way, no worries. System will allow you. You may get the progress, wrong progress. Okay. So
Yes,
you will, yeah, you will keep all this tracking. Some other documents you may keep, like what setups we did, what need to be completed. You will have a checklist when you do the setups.
Okay.
So accordingly, you can go ahead. Yeah. No worries. Here, if something goes wrong, no need to worry about it. You will come to know. If some setup is not completed, when it comes to some transaction creation and all, you will come to know, so that you can go back and you can do if it is required.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you don't to complete a few critical setups, very key setups, it won't allow you to use the system also. It depends which application you are using.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, we have a solution in that way. Any other questions?
Sir, good morning, sir. I have one question. I'm new to this batch.
Please.
Sir, my name is Srikanth.
Yeah, question,
Hello.
please.
Sir, I completed my CA intermediate, sir.
No, 1 second. Not now. We'll discuss after some time.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, please. Okay.
Lakshman, will you help us will you show how you will get all the setups from this instance and upload in
Yes.
another instance?
Yeah, I'll show you the process. I'll show you the process.
Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, no questions. So then we can just wind up for today. Okay, in tomorrow's session, we'll just get into the system, how we can start doing the setups, and what else we have to understand. We'll discuss and we'll keep going in the system environment to perform the setups. Our project is ready. We can start with the setups. Before we do the setups, what we are going to do, what purpose we are going to do, and how to do the setups, what is the meaning of each and every point, we'll discuss in the tomorrow session. Accordingly, we can proceed. Okay, please try to complete these from your end, the user creation, project creation, spend some time on the instance, so that will help you. Keep in touch with the team if you don't have instance access. Okay, So that's all for today. If you have any questions, please stay back. We will discuss. Please stay back. We'll discuss. Thank you all. See you tomorrow.